Hello everyone, I am Alex and we operate GT Games down in Carlton Place, a local game store. We buy and sell a lot of trading cards, Pokemon cards, Magic cards, stuff like that. And I wanted to make a quick little video about my thoughts on banning cards, alright? So the profits of our store in the aftermath of banning cards from popular formats like Magic and Pokemon. A really good example, just recently, Magic back in September, which is about a month ago. It's October now, end of October. So about a month ago, Magic released a big announcement saying that they're banning some really crazy cards from the Commander format. Cards like the Jeweled Lotus and the Mana Crypt, stuff like that. Some cards that were really high power, really expensive to buy as a player as well as to keep as a store. And I just wanted to quickly go over some of the stuff that I've been seeing online related to that, specific from the point of view of a store. And what that did on the profits and the bottom line for seeing cards that were banned like that. So, for example, let's just talk about the value right off the start here. If we've got Jeweled Lotus, okay, we got the Lotus here, the big old LOT, and we've got Mana Crypt. Hopefully you can see that okay there. But if we had a chart, okay, and we're saying we had a selling value of these cards pre-ban, so before September. The Lotus was selling at about $88 US, whereas the Mana Crypt was selling at about $185. Okay, so that was, you know, relatively to the height. Now there's different prints of these two different cards, there's different values, but let's just take an approximation. These are the two of the most popular ones that I saw for both Lotus and for Mana Crypt. That's what they're selling at pre-ban. All of a sudden we fast forward to September. Some people, I think, maybe knew that this was coming, maybe some people didn't, but the official announcement came out. Wizards of the Coast says, hey guys, you can no longer use these cards in Commander format. Everybody that has those, you kind of got cucked. You can't use it anymore, even though you've already got these really expensive cards. After the ban of September of 2024, these card values plummet, okay? So Jeweled Lotus, it's going along, September hits, and then boom, it drops all the way down to 50 bucks. Okay, so now we're hovering around the 50 mark after the ban for Jeweled Lotus. Mana Crypt does basically the same thing. It's at 185 here to start. And then we're getting closer to September. The announcement hits, it gets announced, and then boom, the price has dropped. And now we're at $100, hovering around there for Mana Crypt, okay? I wanted to outline that because people came into the store all the time, or I see people online commenting all the time, they think, oh my God, the game shops are losing all this money. Tens of thousands of dollars are being lost because these cards are banned. And while that may be true in the short term and may be true for these exact cards right here, that doesn't necessarily, it's always going to be a bad thing, okay? So yes, if you had these cards in your personal collection, those cards are now worth less. Yes, if you had a stockpile of these cards as a store and you're selling them, yes, your inventory value just dropped significantly based on these particular bans. But that doesn't mean that the whole thing is bad, okay? So everybody's raging at Wizards saying, oh my God, you guys are ridiculous for doing this. Why did they make a ban in the first place? Why does any card game company, it could be Pokemon, it could be Flesh and Blood, it could be Lorcana, why does anybody make any sort of announcement to ban cards from their formats? It's for the greater good of the game, right? At the end of the day, you're trying to make a game that's as well balanced as you possibly can. You don't want certain metas to shift towards just one meta, so that's usually a big indicator. If you see everybody's running a Lotus and a Mana Crypt, and it's just breaking the format within Commander, or you're playing Pokemon and you see everybody's playing one particular card, maybe everyone's playing an overpowered Charizard, and everybody in the meta starts shifting towards that one card, at some point you're going to have to make the decision, yes, maybe those singles are going up in value in the secondary market, but for the greater good of the game, you need to ban those things to keep other card values to go up a little bit higher, to keep it in balance with everything else, but most importantly, to make sure that the game is fun to play. If you're walking into a tournament and every single person has the exact same deck, that's a pretty shitty feeling if your deck and you're mirroring everything else in a tournament. If you're going in and you're playing against buddies for Commander and someone's got a Lotus and a Mana Crypt and turn one, he's already way ahead of everybody else, it's not really a fun experience to play, right? And major card companies see that, and sometimes us as a shop who carry this sort of stuff take the bullet in the short term. But overall, I think it's still a positive thing because, I mean, I trust Wizards. They've been running TCGs like this for who knows how long, for 30 years. And they know a thing or two about TCGs. They know when certain things come out that break the format over time. And I think that ultimately deters the value of the game as a whole versus staying on top of these things and making sure that you know, the long-term profits are there, so to speak, from a store. We don't want people coming into the store and being scared of playing Commander because the person they're going up against just has a ridiculously broken deck. We want new players and existing players to come in and play the game in a way that is as balanced as we can possibly represent it, right? That's pretty much it. That's all I really want to say about this. So really the bottom line is, yes, people are raging at this. There's some goods and some bads. Short-term profits are going to go down because of this sort of stuff, but I think overall it's going to boost the community for the card games as a whole. And I think that these bans were a good idea, even coming from a shop owner perspective. Let me know what you think in the comments.